Hello there, you beautiful, lovely, wonderful beings. It is Rosanna here with some Rosy Glow Magic just for you. Now, it's been a little while. I've not been online as much as I usually am. I'm going through huge shifts in recalibration, and I really wanted to make this video. I've been thinking about it for about 10 days, especially in the middle of the night, because I have so many celebrations to share. I'm not going to reveal them now, but they're coming over the next few days and they are awesome. So hello, everybody who's joining. But you know, when you get online and you're like, this amazing things happen and this amazing things happen and this amazing things happen, it's very easy to seem like you're gloating. But actually, this is the norm, is that for my life, as I've been working it, the better it gets, the better it gets. And of course, there've been challenges and there've been things that have happened that have taught me a lot as I've got through them. But by and large, the trajectory is amazing. So the video, why we retreat from self-celebration and how loving ourselves can be the most powerful world service we can give, we can offer. So I posted just before this a picture of Ant Fox's gallery at the Brighton seafront where my hair is featured. Hello Shahana, hello Lisa, hello Anne, lovely to see you. Bear with me because this is sweet, this is really sweet. And he said, what's this retreat you're doing? I said, it's a self-celebration retreat. And I told him all about it. And he was kind of like, that sounds amazing. The only thing I don't get is the word retreat just doesn't resonate. And I thought about it, and this expanded my mind, because I didn't come up with this title. And, why isn't it called a yoga retreat or a cacao ceremony retreat or a, self-healing retreat, whatever? It's a self-celebration retreat. And this is about resistance. So it's not so much about the retreat, it's about resistance, okay? Hello. And how we can say we want something, but we undo what we want with the way that we speak about it, or there's an inherent paradox in what we actually want. So think about the word self-celebration. I'll break it down in a minute. What does retreat mean? Retreat means to step away from, right? It means to go back. It means to come out of. And yet, why would you come out of self-celebrating? Why would you even do that? What's the whole point of stepping away from self-celebrating? The point with this is most of us do not feel okay bigging ourselves up. Most of us do not feel okay celebrating our successes. We have been taught to be humble. We have taught to not be the big I am. So when it comes to actually taking some time to review just how many wonderful things are going on in your life and just how much has shifted since you have adopted a consciousness, heart-centered path, whatever that is for you, it can be that, there are all the reasons not to. And what I'm noticing more than anything is that it's always about resources. It's about money and it's about time. Now, so many people have issues with money. Myself, I've been there and back. I struggled as a single mum for years and years and years. And I use the word struggle because I lived on such a strict budget as I built my dreams, right? As I invested in my work. But I never saw this big shift until I started to work with what I call divine prosperity consciousness, which was actually seeing money as a good thing rather than as a bad thing and clearing up my resistance to it. By the way, we've got a workshop on that on the retreat. So the main thing with this is that we don't allow ourselves to receive. We do not allow ourselves to open up fully to focusing on and therefore welcoming the good things we want. We focus on the lack of them. We keep saying, I want this, why isn't it here yet? And that's where we stay, right? So just bear with me because I did make some notes and I want to actually, just while I'm getting something up that I think is really important, I do, so I'm going to share it with you. Have a look around you, wherever you are right now, if you're on the train, if you're on the bus, wherever you are, particularly public places, and just see how many people around you are looking expanded, are looking happy, radiant, are expressing something positive. Just give yourself a moment, see what's there, and let me know if you're experiencing people who are doing that, because it's not around us. It's not culturally okay for us to do it. And the Marianne Williamson quote I want to go from is about daring to be your brilliant selves, daring to be your brilliant self. So Marianne, I'll do there we go, our deepest fear. So let's get it. Take a deep breath, bring yourself to your heart, because I haven't seen you for a while, and this is for you. Deep, deep, deep breath. Long out breath. Hello, Tanya. Hello, welcome, Deborah. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. You playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine, as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it is in all of us. That's the divine spark I talk about. It's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same, get past their self-judgment and judgment of others. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. So, the problem is stepping through the judgment thing. We judge others, therefore we feel bad about the fact that if we step forward and say, look, all these amazing things are happening, that we're going to be judged. And this is a big thing because it's a fear of persecution that stops us being successful in every area of our lives. Because if we are successful in that area of our lives, then we disprove what we were taught about that area which we used to struggle in, okay? So one of the things that happens is people shy away from going and having big life-changing experiences because they've then got to go back to their life. So the invitation is really one where the retreat idea, you know, when you kind of think about it, not being able to carry things on. So you go and you have an amazing time somewhere and you touch nirvana and then you go back into your life and it's like you come back, it's a come down, you come into a slump. And the whole point of being able to take some time to retreat into something rather than away from something is that you get to access that feeling vibration and to embed it. Now you can do that online, you can do that, you know, in lots of different ways, but when you gather with people and you actually have that intention to consciously carve a path out, then together your energy is really powerful and it allows it to happen. You can do it with friends, you can do it with family members, you can do it in a sacred space that's set with that intention. People go to church, people go to meditation, you go to retreat for that same reason. Now, the issue with self-celebration is that it's just not allowed, it's not acceptable. If you're a child and you go, I'm really good at this, my mummy says I'm really good at this, then usually that child gets the crap ripped out of them and they soon get knocked down a peg or two. It's like, ooh, who does she think she is? Ooh, they're getting a bit big for their boots. Ooh, they're doing the big I am. And this is so deeply ingrained in us. One of the things I actually say to mums of newborns and young children when they're saying, oh, you know, you're such a flirt, or you're such, you know, you're so cheeky, or you're so naughty. You know, they say it friendly and nice and loving, but actually they're just saying something to that child that they're going to take as a truth. Because these babies, they're just taking whatever we say as truth. It's going into subconscious programming. It's not something they're thinking about rationally. So we've all had messages from early life saying it's not okay to be in love with life. It's not okay to be in love with self. It's not okay to do any of these things on the basis that you're basically just separating yourself out from the crowd. So in the invitation for self-celebration, we focus on success, and then we have to go through the fear of other people's judgment and envy and wishes, ill wishes, fear of persecution. How many cultures is it ingrained in that you might get a curse put on you, that if you're really beautiful or you look really happy, someone may envy you, and in their envy of you, they may put a negative thought on you that affects you, right? So in Greece, you have the evil eye, you have the mappy, and it's in every culture, there's some kind of equivalent to this. But essentially, again, we are scared, we are programmed not to come forward and not to be brilliant and not to be wonderful. So when you're invited to step forward and be all of those things, you're going to be scared of what that's going to mean other people think of you. Louise Hay says, what other people think of you is none of your business. Now, loving ourselves, how can this actually be something that can be of benefit to the planet? Like to really, we know looking after ourselves as in putting good things into our body means we're going to be healthier, so we're going to be less of a burden to the state, and that's a good thing because we're less of a burden to others. But how can our general disposition, just being one of focused on the good, on what is great in us, and therefore reflecting that out to others and looking at what's great in others, Because if you are looking at yourself in judgment, you will be looking at others in judgment. It's the mirror, right? So as you look at the good in you, you invite yourself looking at the good in the world and in other people. And in so doing, your energetic vibration changes. Okay, you know what it's like when you're around someone who feels like they bring you down. Their words are negative. You can feel like you're being drained. What is it like when you're around people that are uplifting, that just being around them is like, oh, it's like I feel energized just being around you. My dad says it to me, previous partners have said it to me, but there was never this idea that they could tap into it themselves. There's just this idea that some people are really bright and other people are really gloomy. And it's not true. The truth is you're either plugged in to the energy, the support, call it God, call it source, call whatever you like, that is available, or you're shut down from it. And judgment is a really big part of this in the way that I see things and teach. So one of the things I wrote here as a note is that we retreat from our own approval. And, you know, I'm putting out there at the moment a really awesome event that's happening the end of September. I'm calling it a self-celebration retreat. People are going, well, what is it? I'm going, well, it's yoga, it's cacao ceremonies, it's amazing workshops on areas around sexual energy and around loving yourself and giving yourself the love that you want from life, so you can get it from life, and then divine prosperity. And then there's something for the guys as well with the whole Too Tough to Break thing. And that's led by Ian, by my partner, around us dropping our defenses and really what it means to be in the heart, to be compassionate. It's the thing that people are saying, well, is it a retreat or is it a festival? And I'm going, well, you know, you can bring some meat, you can bring some alcohol if you want to. And then I've got someone else saying to me, was it high vibe alcohol? I'm like, yeah, we're going to bless everything. And the whole thing is that there's not a judgment of this is good, this is bad, you can only come here this way. But the intention is that everybody is celebrating all that is good in them, all that they value in themselves, things they treasure, and therefore being willing to see that in those around and to focus their whole weekend on what they want to co-create in the different areas of their life that matter to them as we move into the winter months and then come through into the next year. And why is this important? We're anchoring intention. You can do this daily. You don't have to come to a retreat, right? But remember what I said about it being magnified. You're anchoring this daily. You put this intention in of what you want to co-create. You bring the future into the present. And by bringing the future into the present, you enter into that now eternal moment, the now, which you can then use the tools that we share with you to clear up your own internal and external resistance to having what you're learning in the retreat or in the space we gather become your daily reality. Because this is what has happened for me, is I've taken tools, I've committed to them, I've worked with my resistance as it's come up by loving it up, and in so doing, my life externally has changed as much as my life has internally changed. I don't recognize the person in here. This is not the same consciousness that once was. And that's because I've been patient and diligent with the process. Last video I made, so this is a bit of a ramble, but I really hope it's going to serve you to feel good about looking and appreciating yourself. This isn't about big-headedness. This isn't about, oh, you know, I'm better than everybody else. This is just about recognizing that you're as good and as worthy and as deserving as anyone else of your own self-acceptance. And when you give it to yourself and you are gathering with others that do the same thing, wonderful things happen. You lead the example because you shift your vibration, you anchor that vibration into your daily life. Those around you feel it. They start acting like you are once they get over their initial resistance. And you are changing the world just by how you have changed your vibration. To me, that blows me away. One of the things that's happened for me is I am becoming softer as I get older. On the one hand, bit firmer, that I don't put up with stuff that doesn't work for me, but my no is firm and loving. It's not going to then get into an attacking space, whereas before I was much more warrior-like. And this is something that I feel is important for us to understand as we make a choice, either a path of battle, which is a warrior path, or a path of co-creating consciously with love and using love and compassion to heal all of the hurts that we encounter inside of us and those around us. Again, this is what it's all about. This is what the retreat, festival, gathering, whatever you want to call it, is all about. It's gathering the souls that are ready to go, oh, yeah, let's do this. Let's have a vision of what this looks like. Let's tap into it. Let's feel it. Let's anchor it. And then let's see how we're going to take it into our lives, because we're going to really work with how we're taking it into our lives. You can do this every new moon, every full moon. You can clear up your resistance. This is what I do with my meditations. But the point is, when you start to live more with this kind of divine architecture or even framework around your life, you start to see how things are changing all of the time. So just going to read what I wrote when I was inspired. When we love and accept ourselves, the world around us reflects this back. Once we have cleared our resistance, as in it being okay to just be in this love, we will come across the resistance that is unconscious and conscious, and all we need to do is love it up. The tools that we use to love it up are spheres of compassion and all sorts of other reprogramming techniques that I've worked with over the years to get the results I've had. And in order for something to grow, we must focus on it, feed it, invite it, welcome it, learn more about where we block it, which comes through being with others. It comes through sharing. So we must recognize our power as co-creators, because our vibration, our physical and energetic resonance either adds to the problems that are in the world around us, or it moves us into a higher state of being and creation. So even if we're thinking about politics and we're thinking about world things that are going on, whatever they may be. I mean, I watched the news the other day and saw a report about a peaceful protest about democracy in the UK, and then a not peaceful protest in Hong Kong. Interesting that humanity around the world is seeking democracy, is seeking fairness, is seeking accountability. When each of us actually do this in our own lives, accountability, transparency, integrity, impeccability with our word, allowance, acceptance, non-judgment, forgiveness, trust, and discernment. Discernment's a biggie. If you burn your hand in that fire once, okay, and then you do it again, doing it the third time, having had the same result the first two times, is interesting, okay? So discernment is really important, because people around you will be in pain. And everybody learns from pain. Everyone has the right to learn from pain. There is another way. You don't need to go saving anybody, okay? You live the example and you invite them into the idea and the possibility that there is another way of doing it. You have to anchor it somewhere, then you can live it, and by integrating it and living it, you embody it, and then those around you get the radiation from you that then allows them to also pick up on this and to start to co-create it. So that is how it is the greatest world service you can give, to anchor into love, to be willing to explore the areas where love is absent, because it's all the areas that you judge yourself. It's all the areas where there is some kind of lack in your life. There is no need for the lack. Once you recognize the inherent truth that your fulfillment doesn't come from anything outside of you, it comes from your connection to your God self, to your higher self, to the source that is within, the divine spark that is you. Once you really fall in love with that, that is what radiates, and that's what everybody feels. That's what I tap into. And yeah, I get the gremlins in my head. Who does she think she is, spouting all this stuff all the time? God, I get sick of the sound of my own voice sometimes, you know. But I also recognize that compassion needs to be given to that part of me that is pretty competent, you know, in many ways. There are areas I lack, but there are other ways that I'm competent. So I celebrate me, and then I celebrate the judgment that comes up that I become aware of, that I then love myself through. That's the invitation. So the new moon was all about creating this divine architecture, okay, for us to step into, to expand our energy field, to allow ourselves to bring more of our soul love light into our bodies. This full moon that's coming, so that'll be next week, is going to be all about clearing the resistance up to that expansion. If you're getting sick, if you're getting migraines, if you've got a cold, if your throat's blocked, if you're getting a bellyache, you're clearing different energy centers at the moment. Please look inward. Let whatever I'm saying now inspire you to look inward, to trust that if you ask the question, ask the divinity within you to answer, and be open to the messages you get. But please shift your focus from looking around for someone to save you to recognizing the savior is within. Okay, and this savior is your God self. So again, source self, God self, whatever you're into, I don't mind. When I talk about love, I'm talking about God. So my invitation to you is to come, bring your shadow and your light with you. It's not a mental faculty weekend, okay? We're not going to spend our lives our weekend trying to understand things with our heads, we're going to be embodying what it means to live by intention through the yoga, through the cacao ceremony, through when we eat, through when we do a workshop. Each workshop there'll be a check-in and where we are, what we want from it, what we want to achieve. Through the dance party, which of course most of us are not going to stay up all night. We'll probably stay up a couple of hours and then we'll get up for the sunrise yoga on the Sunday. Everything is about the blessing. Everything is about inviting heaven into our hearts, living from that loving, compassionate place with each other, learning what comes up for us when we do, and experiencing it, loving it up and expressing it through all of the modalities that will be available, including rest time. I hope this just touches you, because I want to invite you in. You know, I've been taking time to really feel what it means to live in a way that is entirely about loving and observing and moving out of judgment and loving judgment up when it comes up. I love sharing that with you. I love supporting you to move through your blocks. And with all of the celebrations that are coming ahead that I will be revealing to you over the next week or two, I want you to feel, you can have this too. I want you to feel that every hardship you have ever gone through serves a purpose, but it doesn't mean you have to keep going through hardship. You can choose grace and ease. And that's what we'll be embodying. That's what we'll be anchoring. That's what we're going to be giving people the chance to really feel and to heal the wounds of the heart by understanding more about how we contribute to our own misery, our own isolation, and all the areas in life where we feel we lack. So leave it there. If you want to know more about the retreat, it's rozyglowretreats.com, self-celebration retreat. Get in touch with me if you want to know about the glamping options beyond the basic price. Remember that this is about being in the heart, so it's not a get off your head weekend any more than it's a teetotaling weekend. It's a come into your heart weekend. We're going to descend to ascend. And if you haven't got a clue but you're feeling the call because of what I'm sharing with you and you like this style, mate, come along, bathe yourself in it. It's going to be amazing. There's already a lovely tribe that's gathered. We've got room for a few more heart-centered beings. I'd love you to come. I'd love couples to come. I'd love friends to come together. I'd love parents and children to come, although it is for adults. So, 16 and above, fine, no problem. But yeah, it's just there. I'm going to leave it there. I love you loads. Have a wonderful, heart-filled, loving evening. And yeah, if you've been having a tough time, remember you'll come through the other side. I've been sick. I've had a month that's been really clearing for me, and Ian has too. But where we're coming to is beautiful, and we want to share it with you. So share your light, share your brilliance. Remember you are the example. Clear the resistance up. The whole world shines with you. Namaste. Take care. Loads of love.